Storage has been complicated for the last 30 years. Customers have always had to face some sort of challenge with respect to sizing their infrastructure on any number of trade-offs that storage systems up until now have exhibited. Trade-offs around performance, trade-offs around price, trade-offs around capacity, scale, usability, you name it. Fast forward to 2020, and the application landscape is changing by the day. New tools like big data tools, artificial intelligence tools, are challenging organizations not only to completely change their products and services, but it also challenges infrastructure teams to understand and to prepare for what these new applications will impose and expect from infrastructure. Change is the only constant. What we can say is that every 6 months, applications are changing on a very frequent basis as people are figuring out new ways to apply AI and new AI frameworks to apply in order to completely change the way they do business. And so with change as the only constant, customers have to ask themselves, what is the level of capability and infrastructure complexity that they need to prepare themselves for? And that's where VAST comes in. VAST was founded in 2016 to simplify storage at every single level. Ours is not only a new storage product, but also a new storage philosophy. When we started, we basically started to think about the different types of storage technologies in the market and understand how customers were working with these technologies. And the conclusion was that in the age of big data and in the age of cloud, that if VAST was going to bring something to the table that could completely change the way that customers thought about their data, we needed to change how they thought about infrastructure altogether. As I mentioned, it's a philosophy as much as it is a storage technology. And we start from completely simplifying how customers think about how to deploy and manage data storage infrastructure. Our system has a simple intention: to be fast enough for all of your applications, to be affordable enough for all of your data, and to be scalable enough such that you can now reasonably put all of your applications and all of your data into one simple scale-out platform. This is a technology that defies classic characterization, and as a result, we call it universal storage. It's one system that you can now use for everything. From an operational perspective, there's a ton of benefit from no longer having to deploy all sorts of different tiers of infrastructure within your environment and manage your data across these complex tiers. But there's a bigger benefit in play, because once you can finally afford to put all of your data on a scalable pool of NVMe flash, well, your applications are ready not only for the challenges of today, but also tomorrow. And your users stop worrying about their data and where their data is, because it's always available in real time. Now, when we started in 2016, we had to make forward bets on these technologies. We started with a blank sheet of paper and combine these technologies in a new and innovative way that completely transforms the storage experience. VAST is walking away from the last 10 years of storage thinking where people have said you need to build shared nothing architectures to get to scale. And our disaggregated architecture makes it much more simple, resilient, and affordable when you can combine it with the other technologies that we work with. It's a scale-out systems architecture where you have a number of very high-density flash enclosures that are organized on this NVMe fabric that all connect into a pool of stateless Linux containers that serve out the file system and the object storage system through the protocols that we support. For the first time ever, you can have as many scalable controllers on your storage as you'd like. You can lose all but one and they're completely resilient. And as you grow your environment over time, two things happen. One is it's a completely linearly scalable architecture. Every CPU you add to the system is a linear unit of performance scale, and that's because these CPUs don't need to talk to each other. All of the servers are talking directly to the drives, they're not talking to each other. And so that eliminates a lot of the scalability complexity that customers have dealt with for up to 10 years with their shared nothing systems. But on top of it, it's an asymmetrically scalable architecture. And that means that you can build from multiple generations of storage. And the nice thing about flash is that over time, performance scales with capacity on a linear curve. So next year, when we have systems that are twice as fast, they'll also be twice as dense. And when you combine all these three innovations together, an architecture to support QLC flash, new next generation error correction codes that have almost no overhead, and the fact that we can find much more effective capacity through this global data reduction approach that we call similarity reduction, The net result is that you no longer have to worry about the cost of flash. And so customers love it because now they just have one system that they can deploy for all of their applications. And the reason for that is that users no longer worry about where their data is. In essence, it's the first platform that can completely modernize your data, not only by just bringing all of your data up to NVMe levels of performance, not only by eliminating the boundaries of scale that you have with classic architectures, but also by erasing the economic arguments against storage tiering that have existed for the last 30 years. And so because of this, we're finding awesome success in the market. VAST is the fastest growing company in storage history, and we're powering all sorts of applications ranging from modern analytics to next generation media workflows to AI and beyond. We've now introduced a brand new capability that is our next generation AI research infrastructure. We call this Lightspeed. It's a system that combines the light touch that you'd expect to get from a simple enterprise NAS appliance with the speed and performance that you'd only otherwise be able to get from a complex scale-out HPC storage technology. We'd like to show that to you now.